Good. I guess it's afternoon to all of my guests. I was about to say good morning, everybody, because that's what it is for me. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. My guests today are is the Golden Rage creative team, Chrissy Williams and Lauren Knight returning, and Sofie Dodgson jumping in with us this time around, with her red hat and everything,
Oh
which
yeah,
I
and
just love.
cosplaying.
Um, I was rereading it this morning in my dazed fugue state as I was eating breakfast and loving it again. So I think I'm gonna start and like Chrissy, give the Golden Rage pitch because like it's time for we might be past final order cutoff, but that doesn't matter as much for the trade paperbacks. The trade paperback of the second volume is right around the corner. So give the pitch for people that need to go out and buy it. And thank you, Mom. I'm pretty certain you already have based on the last episode.
Um, okay, so the standard Golden Rage pitch is the elevator pitch would be older women have been deemed useless to society. They've been abandoned on an island where they must fight to the death and make friends and desert. And this is volume 2 of the series. So we've added another line onto that, which is also, and remember how the hell to take care of a screaming baby. Yeah. So what we have is our kind of Battle Royale meets the Golden Girls setup plus child.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the basic
Well,
pitch.
and like this volume deals with so many family dynamics because you've got the mother-daughter that you had in the first volume, but then like we slowly find out that the child is a granddaughter of our big character whose name is escaping me at the moment because it's early in the morning. I,
It's right.
Sophie.
Yeah, I think what we've done here is it's very much the case of come for the elevator pitch, but stay for all the chats about
Right.
friendship and family and
Well, I mean,
grief
I'm
and
even gonna
relationship.
like we're gonna jump straight into like deep spoiler because there's such a great speech at the end or near the end that I like it, it hit me again, so I'm sharing it again because thankfully I think it applies to at least good fathers too. It made me feel like it was a good father because it applied to me. There is no mother, or there is no good mother. There is just a person who tries and succeeds and fails, is never any ending. Good enough is amazing. Good enough is all you can do. Mothers are just people. We are people. Um, and like I thought, aside from just being a great line in and of itself, that wound up um kind of encapsulating so much of the series. So, you start from this premise that like, oh, we're getting rid of all of the old ladies because they don't make babies anymore, so they're useless. Except that like nobody's useless or useful beyond what they can manage to do. And everybody has I mean, I think it's telling when the daughter shows up and she's like, please let me stay here because it's gotten so horrible. Which is predictable because any society that decides that it should just cast off any group of people is likely to be horrible. But um, even though she's going to this mother that she has this deeply flawed relationship, I guess is the easiest way to put it. Like it's like I still feel safer there. Feel safer with you. Um, so like talk to me a little bit, and then we're going to start kicking towards the art team about uh like what it meant to really kind of look at family dynamics in such a holistic and hu human way. I mean, you use the word human way. They're just people. Like because it's such a hard thing as a child to look at your parent and go, "Oh, yeah, you fucked me up," but it's not because you were trying to fuck me up. It's because you are also fucked up.
Yes, I think it took me quite a long time to get to that as an adult to look back at my parents.
I think it takes a long time for most of us.
Yeah. I think there's a whole combination of stuff that has fed into this book, and some of it is definitely born of my experience having a child when the first Golden Rage volume came out, and doing that very literal kind of write what you know thing, and wanting to bring that in and seeing how that changed everything. But one of the key things about I would say my personal experience was, I know the phrase chosen family is obviously um, used much more prominently in I like with queer friends, queer family, like much more. But I found as a new mum living in the middle of London with no family nearby that I had no family other than what became the people that we found we could lean on then. And applying that to Golden Rage for me is really important because I don't think family are always the best people to help with family.
Not always.
I think as I think we've taken for granted, or I no, I'm saying we, like the royal we. I think took for granted very much that as a capable woman, I would be able to cope with the stresses of motherhood and the early, and it would all be a learning challenge I could roll with. And I think, what we're seeing loads of now is much more interesting stories about motherhood and parenthood. I don't mean just motherhood, um, and how much more realistic and terrifying it can be. I think there's a play on in London at the moment that is explicitly about the sort of, it's almost like going behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz and just like, what do you mean you don't, no one knows what they're doing? No, wait, and so but I can, what you don't know, nobody knows. And we have this perception that
They
women,
didn't give you the manual at the hospital, Christy.
yeah,
I got a
exactly.
manual. I didn't get a
Oh,
manual. I didn't get a manual.
but no, it's that idea that women, especially, the burden is still always on
Yeah.
women to have maternal instincts and be able to just vibe their way into parenthood or something,
Yeah.
which is on the one hand madness, but on the other hand, well, I think what we're doing in Golden Rage is trying to present like a spectrum of
Right.
different women's experiences and relationships to, like, what one of my favorite lines in it is when the character Lottie is asked, "Oh, how do you get to your age and not know anything about babies?" And Lottie's reply is, "Oh, I'm just lucky, I guess." Like
Right.
that is good and solid and valid and great. I hate the feeling that somehow we're all supposed to just naturally know what to do.
Well, and I also actually loved that it was Lottie who takes care of everybody else. That's like, yeah, no, I can make you tea, but like babies.
Absolutely. Give me a chicken, give me a cat, but a human,
Right.
no, thank you.
I can take care of them when they're 10, which I often feel that way. My wife and I were just talking about it last night, because when we got married, she still thought that she wanted to have kids, and I already had kids, so it was like, either way, right? I love you, so if you want to have a child, I don't want to deprive you of that, but I got kids, so if you don't, we're fine. And when she made the decision not to have the kids, it was this whole like, oh, but like this is expected of me, blah blah. And she was suddenly worried that I'd be disappointed, and I was like, no, no, you're allowed to. And one of the specific things that she talked about is she's like, I don't get the people that are like, oh, I have a baby in my arms and I just want to have another baby. She's like, babies are gross. They're smelly. They're boring.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely.
Like
I think there's
when they're
other,
5 or 6 and I can do art projects with them, they're kind of cool. But until I'm like, hey, I don't even want them until they're like 10 and we can have philosophical discussions.
It's all very different. I think everyone has their own sort of experience and needs and desires in this whole area, and there's just so much societal expectation in well, I mean, specifically I'm obviously talking about someone who I live in the UK. There's so much societal expectation still for women to somehow be perfect mothers, and over in the UK as well. I think I feel like the UK doesn't really like children very much. There's some kind of it's
Have
starting to
mommy
change.
blogs become a thing in the UK?
Yeah. It's I mean it is definitely changing, but you
Well,
still
no, I just
find
meant that at least in the United States, the mommy blogs are the worst because it's like, oh, these are the things that you must do, and it's based on all this history and blah blah blah. It's like, no, it's not. This is not what your parents did. This is not what their parents did. Some of
yeah.
it is better, and some of it is like worse. But you're just saying, and you're putting so much responsibility on first time. I mean, again, we were just talking about the kids thing. It was our anniversary, so we wound up like talking about all sorts of stuff, and it's like one of the things she realized is like, oh, like yeah, this is why they allow screen time, and this is why before screen time there was always a playroom in the house where you could just tell the kids to go. Or if it was nice outside, it was go outside and don't come back until dinner, you know? And like, mom probably wasn't making us lunch because she was all nice and wanted to make us lunch. It was because if she had the peanut butter and jelly sandwich ready when we got to the door, we interrupted her day even less. It's like, here, have a sandwich, bye.
Yeah. Um,
Um, I
I've
don't think
been
there's ever been a generation that wants to spend 24 hours a day with their children.
No, of course. And it's not just generational. It's, I mean, contemporary now. It's a cultural thing. You see
Oh yeah.
different people, families in different countries, just the different ways that people are brought up, what is more or less normal
Right.
for family coming to help, not coming to help, you taking the baby around. Like, I think what in Golden Age, what I definitely wanted to have in my head is this is the village. This is the okay. So maybe chosen family is actually the wrong phrase when they've all been dumped on the island in one go, or like stuck with it. Well, I guess there's like more like
I
real
mean, they
family.
did kind of they go into groups, so there was some choosing, and then they realized that there weren't enough of them to choose, and
Mm,
they needed to be a little wider in their choosing.
yeah. I guess we just wanted we oh, again, I'm using the royal we, sorry. We just wanted to try and show an array of different experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, there's in which is it issue 4 where they no, it's actually in the last issue. Of course, it's in the last issue where like a load of the first half of the issue is just women standing on a beach screaming.
Right.
um that's the kind of hey, do you want to try and process some of this emotion? Do you want to try no, would you like to stand on this beach and scream with me now, please? That's really where we are at this
And
point.
and and it's kind of why it's a shame that we don't have Becca with us because she did some great word balloon work there.
Yeah. That whole the thread with the most intense screams is just such a joy. But it's, I mean, it's two individual pages, but they
Right.
sit facing each other. It's such a joy to
Yeah.
look at. Yeah, yeah.
So we're that's a great place to transition to bring the artists in and Lauren, don't feel left out, but we've talked. So I'm going to actually start with color, um,
Off
particularly
the hook.
because you were given an interesting assignment in that there's a lot of snow. Um,
Hmm. But I'm really nerdy about snow. I'm half Norwegian, so I grew up
okay.
with a lot of snow. There's not so much
I,
snow
I'm
where I
only
live in
three-eighths
England.
Norwegian, but I get it.
Oh, cool. And there were a few people who knew what I was working on, and I said it was set in the winter and it was going to be snowy. We're like, oh, well, that'll be easy for you, ha ha ha. but it's much more nuanced than that.
Oh
The
no,
way
I
like
that's why
shadow, yeah. I mean, I
I,
love the way like shadows form on snow and those sort of really
right,
like neon cyan blues that kind of emerge on snow.
right.
You know, it was great. I loved it. Um, yeah, very
And
happy.
how about just like and I never I wish I could get my wife to join for more podcasts because she's the actual art teacher that knows the proper terms.
Oh
But
no. I'm not very trained, so maybe I don't know
well,
yet
okay, then
enough.
then maybe it'll work out that I'm just bumbling my way along.
We can bumble
Um,
together. That's fine.
you seem to have restricted your palette a little bit to set a tone, and I think a lot of that's around the snow.
Hmm.
But like, talk to me about how you and like if it wound up that you got detailed instructions from Chrissy or Lauren, give credit where credit is due. But I feel like this is the team
Chrissy's
that
face.
you were given black and whites and said go to town.
Yeah, I mean,
Like how did you
pretty
decide
much.
how to like color fashion for given? I mean, were the red hats in the story, or did your
The red hats were
red
red
hat
hats.
inspire that sort of thing? Like,
Um, well, Chrissy will have to tell you what the red hats mean, but they're an actual sort of organization, I
okay.
believe. So that was very much in the script already. Um, but otherwise, for color, I think my approach for Golden Rage was I tend to do several passes through the color, and my first pass tends to be quite literal, like naturalistic. I can see a little cattail, Chrissy.
Hey,
Um,
that cat has been on two consecutive podcasts now,
I know my
even
dog
though
made a
it's
little
in London.
cameo. Oh, so you do need the rest of Chrissy's family. Um, yeah, and then I kind of go through, and I guess that's where the expressiveness comes from. Like I try and exaggerate the color or push the color. Like there's some lovely romantic scenes in this volume that I really wanted to kind of heighten, or kind of using color as a tool to just push the emotion of the scene. So I'm trying to sound like I have a method. I think I kind of do what feels right to me at the time.
I
Um,
mean that's a method.
yeah. And then there's some very literal, like a colorist's job is to make sure, scene changes are obvious. So, um,
I see art supplies behind you, so I know that you can't possibly work entirely digital, but
um, I work,
talk to me about like tools.
I work entirely digitally in comics.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I'd love to be able to do some kind of I was going to say traditional, but that's a sort of strange word, a non-digital comics work, but there's never really time,
Time. Yeah.
unfortunately. But that would be lovely. But I love to paint and draw, and I work as a costume designer, so I tend to do sort of more traditional
Okay.
um, kind of tools
Okay.
there. But yeah, unfortunately, comics is all digital. It's
I mean, do you
just
ever play with it when you're trying to decide a color or like
um,
I mean, I mean, I'm just trying to dig into the creative process. I mean, I understand that you'd be coloring the page on screen, but like when you're coloring digitally, are you also doing all of your creative, finding the right tone? I mean, I just
yeah.
know when my wife paints, she'll have like a piece of paper that has a ton of different shades of
Mm.
various
So
colors
that's the
until she gets the
interesting
right one to go paint.
difference is it's much easier to find a color digitally than it is to mix
Okay.
paint. So obviously mixing digital color, um, is instant and
Right.
it's predictable. Whereas mixing pigment in paint is very unpredictable. Um, so the kind of theory between color mixing between digital and traditional is very different. But I think my background in like painting, there are still rules that inform both. Like I use a lot of complementary colors, so colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel, um, especially in scene transitions. That we have a very obvious kind of blue outdoor into orange
Right.
kind of indoor. And I mean, that's kind of one of the main roles of a colorist, I think, is to make those transitions kind of make sense. But yeah, I think my approach with Golden Rage was, other than the really psychedelic scene in issue 4, I think it is. It is reasonably naturalistic colors, but then in the kind of heightened emotional scenes, I like to kind of push it a bit more. If
I
there's like a
also,
stabbing
I mean,
scene, I like to flood it with kind of red in the background.
well, I was just noticing as you showed the spread that was between an outside and indoor scene.
Mm.
Even, I mean, I'm just looking at the last issue now. Like when there's heightened energy, you're more likely to have a red sky versus a blue sky or an
Hmm.
orange sky. My wife will always jump down my throat. That's not red. That's
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. And that's very intentional. I think in the first volume, there was a fight scene where I went very kind of like kung fu movie with the colors, like, very kind of quick flashes of color.
right.
But that's the fun thing about working with Chrissy and Lauren, is that, there can be lots of quite natural scenes with trees and or candlelight or interiors, but then, suddenly there's a psychedelic neon scene with dogs and tennis balls or a kung fu battle kind of thing. And that's a lot of fun for me.
And, like literally as I'm looking at this, I'm noticing that a lot of those panels, uh, Lauren has also added, I don't even know what to call it because it's not quite motion lines and it's not quite an extra shadow, but like you
Hmm.
can see, what would you call it, Lauren? Like when you have
I call
your
those the squigglies.
okay.
Those are the
But they're
squigglies.
not squiggly. They're actually really straight, which is part of the
I don't know. I just add some stuff occasionally.
yeah, but so like it can have like this really profound effect where both the line work and the color are just emphasizing the emotion on. Now is like I don't think I even talked a ton to Chrissy and Lauren about this the last time. What level of communication do you guys have with each other while you're working, or is it a lot of, you know, one person does their thing, says it on another person. There's maybe some talking, but at the top, you know, yeah. How do you complement each other? Because you complement each other really well, and I love to hear how teams work because every great team works differently.
Well, I come in after Chrissy and
Yeah.
Lauren, so I feel like they need to talk about their part.
I work quite closely with Chrissy when I'm doing the inks. But then I don't really work directly with Sophie when it comes to colours.
I know, I'm all alone at the end.
Yeah, I send them off
That just means
and
they
then they
trust
come
you the
back and they
most,
look
Sophie.
beautiful.
Don't think it's because they're tired of the book and don't want to think about it anymore. It's they trust you the most.
Yeah, I know that, which is
They
lovely.
haven't moved on to the next thing. They just
Yeah.
know that
Bottom of
you've
the
got it
pile.
covered.
But I think, I mean, we're laughing, but I think that is true, Lauren. I certainly find that with Sophie. We've talked before on other podcasts behind your back when you haven't been there. Just about
On this
how
podcast,
much
you
you're.
talked about how great of a job she did. So
Oh,
like,
wait, I need to listen back and like bathe in that.
Yeah, what you do is, but there's absolute trust on our part, because I don't think we've so Sophie is just so good at reading the ink work. I think, there's never been any sense of like inappropriately matching mood or tone or whatever. It's
I
the
mean,
opposite.
except that purple sky you were telling me about, where you just got it and you're like, what the hell did you do? And it turned out it was your April Fool's joke.
Oh, right.
Or was
Yeah.
that a different podcast?
I think that was a different podcast.
I'm trying to give Sophie ideas.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you can see, especially by that this is volume 2, like already from the first one, you could see how much
Right.
how much Sophie's color added and what it brought. So I think by this time we're like, Sophie knows exactly what to do. All of it is good. And yeah, the issue, I just want to say that the issue 4 that you mentioned, Soph, so that's a whole issue taught it with these sort of flashes of surreality that Sophie put this kind of neon type of coloring in, and it just looks so good. It works so well. Everyone's heads turn into dog heads for a moment. It's
That was great. That for that issue, I saw the artwork before I read the script, and I was like, okay, Lauren's gone mad. Cool.
I love drawing Kung Fu Emma.
Yeah.
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, no, that you've got me flipping through that issue now. Sending me down rabbit holes. This is one where I'm gonna go Lauren first, but it'll probably go into Sophie. Was there any character that Chrissy gave you that you like really gravitated towards, and like you looked forward to the pages where you got to draw?
I think
whoever.
it's a pretty open secret that we all love Red.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she feels her emotions very openly, so she was always great to draw.
You know, I do feel bad picking like one of the younger women though, because I also really love Rosie.
Well, I do now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rosie's also my favorite, but
Chrissy, was there any character that when you got the artwork back, you went, oh, that's so much more than I'd put into it?
I think the core cast, when Lauren even did the initial sketches, like you can look at the initial sketches, they were in the back of the volume 1, I think.
Right.
There's not like a huge difference at all between what those characters were, is it? They just felt like they arrived instantly, like, yes, great,
Right.
amazing. Like Lauren just nailed the physicality of them, the differences of them.
But did she flesh them out more in your head? Were there any characters where like you thought of them this way and then Lauren drew them and you're like, oh, I didn't even know this about them, but now I know this about them because of this picture in front of me?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wasn't writing it with kind of central casting in my head. I didn't have like the only character I ever had a sort of slight model for in my head was the witch. I thought could be a bus stop Judi Dench. That was my Julie Walters. Judy bus stop Judi Dench would be a completely different, would be a bus stop Julie Walters. No one else. I didn't have like a specific actor or something in mind. You know, and the character descriptions I sent to Lauren were like, what was it? They were like a short paragraph each with adjectives, you know, tall, strong,
Italian.
yeah, exactly. Nervous, like trying to go, yeah. So no, Lauren absolutely created and like incarnated a string of generic adjectives on a page into this really vivid, alive.
Did any of their stories wind up changing?
Any of the stories wind up changing?
Right. And any of them go, oh, I need this person to do this now? Or
I don't think any of their stories wound up changing, though I think probably what started off as the friendship between Lottie and Caroline, where Caroline is much taller and Lottie is much more petite. I think the friendship between them I've enjoyed writing to be able to see them together on the page more. I think that's been fun, but I wouldn't, but not as a plot point, but just thinking visually, it's so nice to see the two of them together helping each other stand up or what, you know, whatever they're doing.
we've got 2 volumes now. Were they both conceived of when you started, or did you write the series and then it did well enough that's like, okay, what do I write next?
It was left deliberately. Volume 1 was written deliberately so it could be self-contained and self-sufficient and just be one and done in
Right.
parenting themes. But then we no, we wanted to make more. And when I was thinking about, I have a few different ideas for like, oh, and if we did another one, this would be the key thing. This would be the key thing. To be perfectly honest, even before I had a baby, I've always loved that episode of The Golden Girls where one of them, where Blanche thinks that she might be pregnant for a minute, and they're running through remembering and thinking about, and they, for a show that was so long ago now, it has not aged that badly, really, in terms of how they all tackle those issues and the different ways different people think about these things.
I mean, there are a number of things that are surprisingly progressive about the Golden Girls when you sit back and go, wait a minute, this came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
And they were okay with this and they were okay with that, and it was on network TV in prime time. Um
Definitely.
with the this is the second volume now, so you have a year's worth of um fan response, either in person at cons. I don't know how many cons any of you get to, or through correspondence, etc. Um, how have you enjoyed the reception? Or not
Lauren,
enjoyed the reception, but I assume enjoyed the reception. I
um,
like to think that if I like it, there are other people who like it, and I pretend that there aren't people who like hate things just for the sake of hating things.
well, apart from people trying to gather us up and cast us onto a desert island where we have to fight to the death and make friends in desert. No, it's
But
been.
is that really about the comic? I mean, I thought that was just the world now.
Yeah, I mean, the whole world is. It's very difficult to do anything other than crawl under your bed and cry at the moment. Sorry for being flippant about it, but I mean, it's a real shit show.
How else are we supposed to handle it? If we're not at least a little bit flippant, we will cry under our beds and cry, which sounds really, really nice. And my bed's not that far away, but I'm going to keep talking to you anyway.
Well, to answer your question, Lauren, do you want to say a little bit about Thought Bubble? Like that's sort of the big UK con that we've done together. Sofie goes as well, but as on a separate table, and that's, I think, where we've done the most talking to
You get
people.
loads of people coming up and saying how much they loved it, and there was one lady who wanted to get a tattoo of the Rage Before Beauty skull thing. So I'd sent her a high-res version of it. I don't know if she did get it in the end, but hopefully she did.
Oh, I hope she
She's
turns
supposed to
up this
send it.
year.
But no, it's really cool. You get to like speak to all sorts of people who come up and are so excited about it and glad that we're there, want more, especially, which is really nice to see because we work in a little vacuum, so we don't
Right.
really get to see if we're just throwing out stuff into the void or what. So that's cool.
Yeah. I've definitely had a few people come up who've told me it's the first comic they've ever read, that someone got it for them. I think
Yeah.
that's.
That
I
was
actually think
definitely where I was going to go next. Is it's definitely one of those that like strikes me as a great entry point for a whole class of people who don't think they like comics.
Yeah. I think I mean I hope so. But we've definitely had people who've, I've had people tell me it was the first time they went into a comic shop and
Right.
they went to get it. And that's
Well, and I hope they had good experiences because that can be dangerous. Many good comic shops. So, like, if you know any, plug them.
Well,
And my
I mean,
reminder to everybody else, be nice to the customers who don't know all of their comic history. You will need them eventually, as all of the people who know all of the comics history get old and die.
I've actually had, I don't know, maybe it's a difference in the UK. I've actually had really, really positive experiences in comic shops. I love it. I think it doesn't feel to me like it felt when I was like a teenager, that it was superheroes and done. That's not even just in terms of what gets given shelf space and stuff. There's
Well,
overly
and
positive about our shops.
they're getting more female friendly,
Oh yeah, I
particularly
think
in
so.
urban areas, but there are still those shops that the women I know go in and they're like, at best, I feel like they don't see me, and at worst, they're really horrible.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a shift. It's one of those things where like some of it is actual toxic masculinity, and some of it is more, comics tend to be geeky nerds and not good at talking to begin with. So, like, they're not that great at talking to other guys, but they at least have experience with that.
Do you think they
You know
might
what I
be
mean?
interested in screaming on a beach?
I do actually. That was one
Because
of my favorite scenes.
that is rage. Rage is for everyone.
Right.
Rage is for everyone. There's
I mean that is one of the appealing things about the comic is that, like, I mean, yes, it pulls in another audience, and I know I'm not the typical male reader. Among other things, I don't even always know if I identify as male. I just almost everything that goes along with male is like, no, icky, go away. But then I like girls, so I'm like, so how does this work? um, Sorry, too much information.
This is a safe space.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You're all good.
Um, but yeah, no, the comics community has always kind of been interesting in that way because it, like, by and large, it really is a place where like the vast majority of I'm trying to remember who said it to me, but we were at a con once and somebody's like, yeah, so comic cons are essentially where shy neurodivergent people go out and pretend they're not.
Yep.
Yeah, as someone who literally created a promotional fanzine that I could just like hold up and give to people so I didn't have to talk to them as they went past the
Right.
table, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly. Like 700 some odd recordings in, people don't believe that I'm shy, but it's like, no, I can talk here and I can talk in a classroom. Everywhere else,
Mm.
if you start the conversation with me and it's on a topic that I actually feel like confident that I know something about, then we can talk. Otherwise, I'm the quiet one in the corner, and that's the way I like it.
There is something wonderful about cons that you just go and you see what sometimes feels, well, I mean, as Lauren said, we're working away in vacuums in our own kind of personal silos, and there's more of people together in London, but even then, everyone's all dotted around all over the place. It's not that regular that people see each other. It's so amazing as creators also to go to a
Yeah.
convention and just see all the other people and remind yourself that they're real, not just
Yeah.
we're not
Mhm.
just the promotional posts on social media or whatever. It's so nice to just remind yourself that everyone is real and
Yeah.
we're all actually doing things, and it's
Well,
always
and that you actually have a community. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah.
I know some creators are way more well-rounded than some of us fans. And for that matter, some fans are way more well-rounded than others. But a lot of us don't feel a lot of community outside of our comic shop. Um, or a con or whatever, just because again, right now anyway, comics seem to primarily attract kind of a neurodiverse, awkward crowd. I think there's probably real research to be done into the whys of that, um, because the medium is actually one that you can't read comics passively. You have to use both sides of your brain. You have to connect the words and the pictures. That they're fabulous educational tool that doesn't get used often enough, as I'm on my education soapbox for a second. um so it's, I guess, not surprising that they attract some really interesting people, but I wonder what it says about the world that those really interesting people feel so separated from so much of the rest of the world. You know. But it's why I like the safe spaces. You got morning Tad right now. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I like it's more philosophical. I like it.
Right.
I mean, this is probably more than my ability to talk in terms of research or anything like that, but
Right.
certainly seems that our government, and from what I can see, America as well, is sort of going out of their way to try and make things even harder for neurodiverse people.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
what seems to
But
be progression seems.
the right and certainly the Secretary of Health and Human Services seem to be really obsessed with autism right now, and specifically making it out to be the worst thing in the world and completely the fault of mothers and Tylenol.
Yes,
Or
yes,
maybe
that's
circumcision.
the latest, yeah.
Rather than one of my favorite, I'm autistic, so like I definitely have people who I read just because they're autistic and write well about, like, one of my favorite responses was from a newsletter where she's like, no, there are more autistic people in the world now because there are more autistic people fucking. That's it.
I saw
That's
that.
it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that
If
as
there
well.
are more people, if there are more, it wasn't even there are, it's like, if there are more autistic people in the world right now, because, like, if you actually know anything about statistics, that's not actually a clear-cut statement. There's a lot of reasons to believe that it's all about we're better at identifying, not there are more. But if there are more autistic people in the world now, it's because there are more autistic people fucking. Because, like, it's genetic. It's not Tylenol. It's not vaccines.
Yeah,
It's like left-handed.
yeah. It's crazy to me how much still is getting thrown onto, oh, if you did this when you were pregnant, it's just
How can we blame parents, blame mothers?
Hey,
Exactly.
well, no, not parents, not parents,
Mothers.
mothers. And there's a key distinction here, and it's clearly just because, I mean, I hate to be the one to have to break this to you, but I'm from America, so I
so
feel like it's my
sorry.
responsibility. Women need to be kept at a certain place. They're very good at making food and babies, but we got to keep them away from, like, government or jobs. And I can't even keep a straight face as I'm saying.
This would be an awful soundbite to just leak this bit.
I mean, but that's how too much of the United States and Britain seems to be doing a little bit better right now, but their Brexit period, they had a lot of trouble with it too.
It's we're not out of those
No, you're
woods.
not out of the woods. I just feel like you're like this much farther than we are right now.
I don't know. I think we're learning from your playbook, I think, is what's
I
happening
hope not.
with politicians. Things feel like they're getting more and more estranged. That's not the word I'm looking for. Opposing.
Right.
Oh my God.
Because most of Europe seems to be learning what not to do from our playbook.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's what I mean explicitly, is I feel like people are learning new rules that are fundamentally about dismantling respect for other human beings.
Right.
It's horrible. There's a much bigger right. There's a bigger left as well. The Green Party, that was traditionally
Well, there
Uh,
is a left. I mean, one of the things that I hate when people talk about the extreme left in the United States is I'm like, drop AOC in France, and she's like maybe 10 degrees left of center.
Mm.
mm, yeah, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love her. And I do think she's progressive and whatnot, but like in most of the world, she would just barely be left rather than the huge boogeyman leftists.
No,
Yeah.
but we have the same here. I mean, Labour
Yeah.
are very centrist, if not
Yeah.
the other side now.
Yeah. No, yeah.
The
Yeah.
way they've been dismantling welfare and
Right.
what they're trying. Yeah, Sophie is.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the US playbook.
Yeah.
Thatcher and Reagan kicked it all off. Let's get away from depressing and talk more about throwing axes at babies.
Well, I mean, one of the things in Golden Rage that we do get asked a lot is, oh, what about the mainland? What about the backstory? What about that stuff? And I'm like, no, we are like a whisker away from actually living in that
Right.
place. I'm
Right.
not interested in that. I'm interested to see what happens when this community sorts itself out and how it employs different strategies in solving problems and caring for
Right.
each, and that's what's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. No,
Hey, look at that,
comics.
I've made it about the comic again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
comics have always been progressive, and like there are two sets of progressive comics. There are the ones that are cautionary, and there are the ones that are um this is how it could be better. And like shades in between. But this definitely has like the premise is cautionary, but the stories itself are like, okay, how can we just make a community that works?
Yeah.
And part of it is understanding that we'll fail sometimes, and you get up and you try again. Um, I know in the United States, one of the points that I just became absolutely infuriated with our political landscape was when flip-flopping became this horrible thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. These are the people making massive decisions, and they're people. They'll make mistakes and they'll learn new things because they had this opinion 6 months ago, 6 years ago, whatever, doesn't mean they need to hold it. If they look at it and go, oh, I was wrong, they should be able to do that without us thinking that it's a bad thing. In fact, shouldn't it be a good thing to say, oh, I believed this, we did this, it didn't work out well. We're going to try this new thing. It made me actually blown away when I was reading a book on Roosevelt and discovered that like not that long ago, I mean that was literally part of his when he was running with the New Deal and people asked about doing too much too fast. He's like, no, we have to do everything we can right now, and if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. But what we know is where we are right now is bad. 25% unemployment, blah, blah, blah. Like, we can change course later. First, we need to feed everybody. And it's been a while since we've seen leaders like that, except in comic books, which is why it's so beautiful to see them in comic books. And why I cried a little bit when it was like, oh, you solved part of our problem because now we've got one less mouth to feed because you're going off. And I was very happy when Rosie came back because it's like, yeah, but um yeah, like how attached this is actually going to be for the artists first because they get it when the decisions have kind of been made already. How hard is it when you get a character or scene where it's like, okay, I trust Chrissy that this will be fine or whatever, but like, no, I don't want to do this to this person. I don't want them to go through this. I mean, is that a thing, or are you able to detach yourself from the characters that you're drawing or coloring? Um, how does that work?
I think I just go along with it because I trust Chrissy's storytelling. So, and a lot of it is she's very good at giving people their comeuppance. So you're kind of
Mm.
behind her. You're like, yeah, this is good. I'm drawing that death scene very happily.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think I work sort of 50% in comics and 50% in another kind of job. So it's always really important to me to use my time wisely. And I only want to work with people where I trust their decisions and what they're going to do.
Okay.
And that is people like Chrissy. So I don't think I've obviously some things are upsetting when they happen, like, death scenes and stuff. But
Well, I
yeah.
mean, my theory on the long saga hiatus has always been that like Fiona prefers to get one script at a time. She doesn't want to know what's coming next. And the
Mhm.
last three issues before hiatus, it was they killed Doff, they killed Prince Robot, they killed Marco. And I just imagine Fiona finishing up that last issue and picking up the phone and calling Brian and going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm
Mm.
taking a break and hanging up,
Yeah.
you know. And clearly it's not that she doesn't trust the storytelling, but and I don't know that that's actually what happened either. I don't want to, but I know how it was to read it. I know
Mm.
how it was. Like I trust Brian and Fiona. For that matter, I even trust Fiona as a check on Brian. She saved Lion Cat. Um, but it's just like sometimes it's so hard to read this stuff that then I sit back and I go, like, what mindset must you get in to create it? You know, I mean, and like I have my own mental health issues. So like everybody, for some people it's like didn't even think about it. I just thought about the scene. Um, but like I mean I talk to people and like I know fantastic cartoonists that pour all sorts of themselves into their work that like the idea of ever doing auto bio is just absolutely positively no way because it's like no, I can't spend a day or a week drawing horrible things from my own life. It's not even that they don't want it out there. It's the idea of sitting there with it is just um so like not just with this book is that a thing or is that just a thing in my head?
I think if something really bad other than a sprained ankle had happened to Lottie, I wouldn't have been that happy about it. I may have had words that would have just been, why?
You would
Um,
have turned in 2 pages, one page doing whatever to Lottie and one page
just
with
in the
Rosie
next page,
taking
she's
Chrissy's head off.
fine. Next page, she's breakdancing. She's totally okay.
Mm. But I
But no,
think it's
I get
about,
what you're
oh,
saying.
sorry. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. But I think with me it's always about working with people that I trust and care about. And
Right.
obviously this book tackles motherhood and found family and friendship and lots of issues. Like I'm a mum and had a difficult birth and my lovely son is disabled. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of things that can be triggering exploring motherhood, um but I trust Chrissy to like and Lauren with the artwork subsequently to like navigate that. And that's such an important part of working in comics for me is working with people that I trust. Like I mean I turn down comics often because I just think this isn't going to align with the things I care about or
Well, so that leads in the question that's in my head is like, particularly as a colorist that has to work more jobs at once to make it worth it. And it sounds like because you've got two jobs, you can balance in more ways than you might otherwise. Like, how do you how do you build the trust?
Um, well, luckily now I can be a little bit choosy about who I work with.
Right, right.
Um,
You've been at it for a while now.
yeah,
You've been
not,
seeing
I'm
your
not,
name on comics and going, I
oh,
recognize that name,
that's kind. I mean, I'm
so it's a
not, there's some
plus.
extremely prolific um comic colorists, and I'm not one
Right,
of them at all.
right,
Um, and I don't really have the capacity for that, because I work other jobs and I um have my son to
have a
raise.
child.
Yeah, so how do I think
This is my reminder to people that comic creators are people who have
real
lives
people.
and bills and families. Find
Yeah.
ways to support them.
Yeah, exactly. That's very kind. Um, yeah, maybe oh God, it's awful to say vibes based, isn't it? But I tend to pretty exclusively work with people that I've worked with
Yeah,
before. So I know as a parent, if my son is poorly, I can send them an email and it not be a big deal, you know.
right.
Um, yeah, don't know.
Mm.
Yeah, and I guess trusting, like I think if I'm going to read a story about motherhood, I think it's important to me that maybe a mother's written it. And I think, yeah,
What?
I don't
You
know.
think experience is useful to that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of
You're
there's
not from the school where white men clearly know everything just by being born?
yeah. I mean, it's more nuanced than that, I suppose, me saying, I need people to be exactly who they're writing about, but
No, it shouldn't
um
be more nuanced. I'm the one that was like being sarcastic off
no,
the
I know.
rails.
Um
It's completely reasonable to if motherhood is central to the story, not
yeah.
not being the child of a mother, but being a mother is central to the story,
Hmm. I think it's
probably
maybe
should be
about
written by somebody
intention.
who has the experience.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
a stay-at-home dad.
sure.
Maybe a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, I mean, I think I turned down working on a comic recently, based on a historical character that had a lot of kind of sexual violence in the story, and it was about women, and I just sort of was kind of wondering about the intention of the writer, I suppose, and
Right.
so I guess, yeah.
Well, and even if you trust the intentions, I can't imagine that it's always worth. I mean, that there are three major questions for a project like that. First, is the
Mm,
story worth telling at all?
mm,
Second, is the story going to be told in a societally positive way? And to choose my
mm,
words, because I didn't want to say positive way, because that sounded like, oh, the sexual assault is positive. No, 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 no,
mm,
no. It's going to be treated in a way where it's the cautionary or the whatever.
mm,
But then the third is, even if it's being done well, even if it is that important work,
mm.
particularly for collaborative work, can I do it while maintaining my own mental health?
No, exactly, exactly. And I mean, I've done some pretty horrific, violent, sexual assaulty comics for sure. So,
Right.
it's about trusting the people that I'm working with.
Right.
Sexual assaulty, using that as an adjective, that was terrible.
Welcome to the world we live in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brett Kavanaugh.
No, exactly.
Um,
Complicated.
uh, I mean, actually, I think it was Kieran yesterday that said like being good isn't that hard, and it's amazing how many excuses we come up with to not be good. So like on one side, yes, it's very complicated. On the other side, it's like, should it be though?
Yeah, but
Does it does it
respect
need to be?
basic respect for other human beings is really easy. It's really, really, really easy. And yet somehow higher up and the more labels are attached and the more everything gets convoluted and removed from the really core principle of just respecting.
Well, and then the other thing is, like, as soon as one person has broken that communal trust of respect, it becomes easier for the next people, either because they justify it because, oh, it worked out well for them, or because they justify it with, well, if he's not going to respect me, I'm not going to respect him, blah blah blah. It's like, it's just such a. And I remember having a conversation with my son when he was like 12 or 13, probably, where he was explaining that, like, he was only going to show his teachers exactly the respect that they'd earned. He wasn't going to show them any more respect than they showed him. And I'm sitting there going, so it's more important to you not to show them too much respect than too little respect? He's like, that's right. And I'm like, well, if that's true for them, doesn't that mean that everybody's trying to actually show just a little bit less respect than the other person is showing? And at what point do we just get to the bottom where nobody's showing any respect? Isn't it better just to show them the maximum amount of respect unless they have forced you not to?
Mm.
And even then, the maximum amount that you can muster to give them. I mean, I like to think that if you put me in a room with Donald freaking Trump, I would treat him respectfully. I want to bitch slap him, but I treat him respectfully.
Yeah.
But it gets hard when nobody's showing you respect, or if you're part of a community that is regularly not shown respect, or systemically not shown respect, or
Yeah. It is. It's almost like there are negative consequences towards generations of people not showing basic respect for human rights. It's almost as if there are negative consequences. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, generational trauma is a thing. Systemic trauma, disrespect, any number of things, also a thing. Um, okay, we got to end like happier. So I'm gonna give you a brand new question before I even get to my um my standard closing question, which is also, I think, a less downer question. I'm sorry that we got so downer. I love this book. This book overall is a fun read. So anybody listening, like, if we've depressed you, please don't take that as a reflection of the book. And
Oh,
the
that's
problem,
funny.
I mean, you guys are being all polite and muting yourself, but the problem with you muting yourself is I'm watching Lauren and Sophie laughing, and it's great, but we
Oh
can't.
no, I'm sorry. I'll send you some sound bites that you can edit in.
No, that's too
Mostly because
much
my
work.
dog keeps barking.
No, that's fair.
Like,
That's fair.
mm.
So my brand new question that I am asking, just because, like, I feel like we need a just major. Let's swing up right now. Tell me something from the last week that has just made you laugh.
Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah, you
have
thought you were only talking about comics today.
I know.
Wait, I do have one. While the others are thinking, I actually do have something. We've
Okay.
been watching the new series of Only Murders in the Building, and we just hit the one where Steve Martin's character is started taking testosterone, and I can't remember what the first line is. He's like, oh, but I think the testosterone is starting to have an effect on my pheromones because something, and then I'm being followed by cats. And then, like, you pan over to the cats at the window, and that I genuinely had just such a laugh at that delightful, like, the hard juxtaposition between testosterone and I'm being followed around by cats. I just thought it was delightful. I had a good laugh out loud. That.
Okay.
I sent Chrissy a poem that I read online a few days ago, and now I feel insane for reading a poem out loud. But it was written by a 5-year-old called Peter, and he said, I have for breakfast Weetabix, I have for lunch some meat, I have for tea 2 sausages, and that's enough to eat. And that was my poem of the month. I really
like
enjoyed.
it.
And the spelling is hilarious. Like, it's written by a 5-year-old, so it's very cute. Otherwise, my
I
child
would
hasn't
love
been
it if you
sleeping.
stuck it in an email to me so I could see it, because that
Oh, I
sounds
will.
fantastic.
Yeah, otherwise I've had a very sleep deprived week, so there has not been a lot of humor in my week.
I have my 1-year-old niece who, for some reason, has grown almost human-sized 2 front teeth. So she looks like an actual squirrel. And every time she smiles, I just crack up.
I love that you said human instead of adult as well.
Well, I
Right.
meant I've also had a very sleep-deprived week, okay?
Yeah,
I don't
well
even
done,
feel
us.
human right now.
Can I, if Sophie read that little poem, can I read the one that I replied to you with?
Sure.
Yes.
A tiger, also written by a 6-year-old. The tiger, he destroyed his cage. Yes. And then in all caps, yes. The tiger is out. Like, great poem. Amazing poem.
I don't
It's
know how many
hilarious.
like comic creative teams are just sharing mini poems written by children with each other.
No
I
credit
love it.
given either.
I think that there needs to be more crossover between poetry and comics. Not enough people are doing it. So like if you need to start by doing the a 1-pager of the tiger poem or the
I actually love the idea of being able to break that into a like real like gritty art style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I seriously think that I mean, unfortunately, from a commercial standpoint, that there might only be me among the first buyers, maybe Matt Madden. But I feel like, there is a lot of brilliant work that could come out of adapting poetry or song lyrics, but not using the words.
Ooh. I don't know if
Well,
you can tell a poet to take the words out of poems.
No. I mean, but like if you were doing it as like a comic, like adapting it as the comic, and maybe put the poem on the other side of the page, so it's like here's what came out of it. There's the poem. Here's the comic that came from it.
Mhm.
Some of them could have the words too. I'm not saying that the words, but like one of the beautiful things about good poetry is it paints pictures. So it's always those rare times where you see comics that are adapting poems. It's really interesting to see how they see the pictures.
There's a load of different practitioners working in poetry comics in different ways. Like some of them working very much towards more, I would say, student or early years kind of breaking poems down into panel by panel by
Right.
panel, trying to make them more accessible and try and help pass that sort of that perceived difficulty in reading them. And other people who are being much more abstract and poetic in their panel transitions and in the composition of the page. And I've definitely have seen poetry comics that don't involve any words at all, that are just about that they're calling it poetry comics much more in this is a type of comics that is more akin to poetry than,
Well, I know Matt Madden did, it's called Walker, and I forget which poetry form it is, but there's a poetry form where you only use 6 words and you use them in a different order in each stanza. So he took that and drew 6 panels and then rearranged them and like it was 6 stick figure action panels. So what he would then change in each page was like the backgrounds or the things that but the main character was in the exact same position on that panel in a different place on each page, so he did and wound up doing a pretty cool comic with it. And I know a few people who do haiku comics a lot that generally have both the words and pictures.
I feel like a proud mom. I want to talk about Chrissy's amazing poetry comics.
You're
We have got the thing that Tom and I have been working on is coming out next month, actually. Hopefully in time for Thought Bubble. It's called I Know the Way Out, and spoilers, I don't know if we do. Yeah, it has a collection of 3 poetry comics that we've done that all speak somewhat towards kind of grief and
You said
oh
Tom, but Tom.
sorry, Tom Humberstone. So Tom Humberstone and I edited 10 years ago, edited an anthology called Over the Line, an introduction to poetry comics.
Oh, that's right.
A load of different stuff.
And this is, I've read at least one book of your poetry since last time, but it's morning. So like, I like completely forgot. Oh, that's right. I am actually talking to another one of the people that is obsessed with both poetry and comics.
No, we talked about it last time. I know you know. It's all good.
It's okay. I was like digitally kicking Chrissy's leg.
I'm so frustrated that like clicked right now.
But yeah, I definitely. I mean, if you wanted to, if I'd wanted to get into a genre of commercially viable comics, I also wouldn't have written something with postmenopausal women as the protagonists.
I mean, I think with that you could actually be just ahead of the curve. I mean, two things. First, like I want to say Heidi McDonald was reporting just last week that the based on Facebook releases algorithm data that can then be culled by all sorts of people, and there are some comics people that will look through it every year, and based on the algorithm data released by Facebook this year, the comics readership is actually 52% women now. You know, so A, you've got a bigger audience, period, but B, like those ones that started with the Raina Telgemeier as their gateway are going to need this book in like 50 years or so. So, I mean, it might not benefit you the way you want it to, but it could still send your grandkids to college.
Amazing. No, I mean, I think that, as I think you will have got from what Lauren and Sophie were saying before, like I also feel we've worked so well together on this, and we have so much sort of trust in what each other's all doing. It has felt really important to make it, and even the normal things that kind of interrupt the actual process, it hasn't felt that it's been a difficult process, even where we've had to delay things, and we've done that. Yeah, that's just that kind of practical stuff is there. The actual Lauren drawing it, Soph coloring it, like knowing what the story is and nailing just the heart of the story has felt like it just happens really easily. It feels to me like it's meant this sounds a bit, this is God, now I was showing off my poet side, but it's like it's meant to exist, it's meant to be. This feels like a really these characters needed more story, they needed to tell more, and they're still
I mean, honestly, I hope that they still get more. I feel like there's I feel like there could be more.
There is, just as we did with the first one, it ends in such a way that
Right.
we could go whichever way you want. I'm just holding my hands and not rubbing my chin, stroking my chin. Is that what yeah.
I'm sorry, I fell down a rabbit hole. I just purchased a copy of Over the Line digitally, which somehow
cool.
I didn't do last time. but I've corrected that now because like I'm disappointed that I haven't read it already.
Well, thank you. The last, actually, the one that's out at the moment that we came out last year. I should say that it won a Scottish. There's a new independent comics awards in Scotland called the Selkies, and it won a Selkie Prize for best narration, which I feel incredibly proud of what Tom was able to do on the page, because to give best narration to something that is unconventionally told and narrated feels like
And which
something
is the one that came
should.
out last year? Is that the I Know the Way Out, or is that
No, I Know the Way Out
That's
is going to be out next month.
upcoming?
The one that won the prize was oh good God, my brain. Come back to me in a second. Yeah. Charts. Introduction to Charts.
Sorry, I'm like, Chrissy,
Oh.
your book is called Charts.
What would I do without yes, sorry, Introduction to Charts.
I'm a very big
looking at it
fan.
now.
I'm a very big fan.
Oh,
So-
thank you.
No,
Yeah,
I love it. So
I love working with Tom because what the three of us have is something that's very specific to plot and character. What happens when I work with Tom is that the script, such as it is super sparse. It might just be the poem, or it might be the poem with me vaguely suggesting page breaks or possibly panel breaks, I think, but very little. And then Tom absolutely goes off and just starts penciling and planning out all of that stuff. It's a much looser.
This one doesn't look like it's available digitally, but there's a bunch of pages at his website, and I'm looking at them right now, and my God, it's gorgeous.
I'm
it's
hoping
really gorgeous.
at
It's a
some
really lovely
point
book.
at some point next year, we're hoping to actually put out like something that's a longer format that collects together all the stuff that we've done. At the moment, we've just been putting out sort of 20 to 30 page pamphlet type things. And
Right.
Tom also works with a amazing printer. And the last one was Riso printed with it's the way that method of printing works is that, you know, each page is printed individually, so they all
Right.
come out with slightly different colors, slightly different texture, slightly different things. So each single physical copy is also a unique object. And
Right.
It's such a gorgeous tactile book. I love like the paper and the color, and Riso printing
it's
is just so
become
beautiful.
really, really big in the indie comic community to Riso print. I feel like every small con I've been to in the last year or so has either an official panel or an unofficial group discussion somewhere about Riso printing.
Well, that's very gorgeous.
Yeah. Like if you're ever looking for US publisher, I mean, I know you know the industry, but like I know at least a couple of smaller presses that might be interested in and not having to make you pay shipping and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because like that's the only reason that I'm not ordering a copy of this right now. I think it would cost me twice as much to ship it as it would cost to get the book.
Yes, we have the
And I'm a
same thing
teacher.
trying to get stuff from you guys. It's
Yeah, exactly.
it's really hard to
but tariffs are good.
Right.
And postal services should be businesses rather than services.
Oh, I would just like to apologize. My cat is coughing up a hairball right next to me.
Oh, I can hear it, baby.
Yeah,
I thought
so
that was
nice.
me.
I'm gonna mute for a moment.
Okay. Well,
Oh, I
that
was
means
enjoying
everybody
that.
else gets to answer the final question
Okay.
first. Tell me something you love, preferably a comic, but we don't really have rules. Preferably storytelling, but again with the rules. But something that you love that not enough people around you have experienced and you want them to, so that you have more people to talk about it with.
Oh my gosh.
You
I feel
asked
like
this
I-
last time. I should have known.
Yeah, I ask you every
I
time.
still
What?
didn't prepare
You
it.
could have, yeah, you could have given me a
I
note.
forgot. I forgot.
I
Hey. Almost everybody forgets. That's why it's that much better of a question.
Does this count that I just drew the tiger coming out of the cage?
I mean, it depends.
The
It's not
poem.
gonna.
Why
Oh,
didn't you draw the sausages though?
I forgot that one.
Okay.
'Cause
I've
I
I
emailed
should
mean,
it
have,
to you.
because I can't draw a tiger from
it
memory.
it 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 it, it counts if you're allowed, if you're willing to send it to me and I can
I
put it up
will.
with the show notes, and then people can actually look at it to talk about it.
Okay, it also comes with a human baby with human teeth.
The human baby with the human teeth. This is great. Have you been live
So
drawing the
for
podcast?
Lauren, it's gonna be, I'm just gonna call it your show doodles.
Yes,
Show doodles slash tiger poem.
love the tiger poem.
Oh gosh, I'm bad at this kind of question. I feel like I'm constantly trying to get my friends to play the comics that I love, read the comics I love and play the games I love, and to not much success. Maybe I need to be more forceful.
Well, that should
Um,
mean that you have a long list, because if you're trying to get them to read and trying to get them to play and they're not, all of those that they have said no
yeah.
to qualify for this question.
It's very, I don't think they're saying no. Gosh. Okay. Um, but the first thing that's popped into my head that I'm obsessed with is um because so I love Meg and Mog, which is this English kids book with really insane bright colors, and it's about a witch and it's completely batshit crazy. There's an adult version called Meg and Mog with a double G, so Megg and Mogg, which is very far away from Meg and Mog children's book, in that it's very adult and explicit. And there she is, there's Meg. I put nose to
Oh,
hand, and I'm obsessed. So that would be the one that I would recommend to all of my
Simon
silly,
Hanselman. You
exactly.
know, enough people have, like, I read just a little bit of this way back when and didn't wind up um jumping all over it, but it keeps coming up, and I know I need to read it more, and I don't think I knew that it came from a children's book, and I wonder if that would wind up making me look at it differently. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's no obvious connection other than it's about a witch and a cat.
right.
But I'm obsessed with the children's book, and I'm obsessed with the very explicit adult, druggy, pornographic, not children's book version of it as well. So that is the first thing that's come into my mind. Yeah, tag someone else.
No, that was good.
The thing I have been fairly majorly obsessed with over the summer is the real life of Maria von Trapp from The Sound of Music. I had not realized that The Sound of Music is not a work of fiction, but is based on her autobiography. And so I read her actual autobiography over the summer, which albeit does have some words which are, I think, which would not be deemed acceptable today, just in terms of naming things. But the attitudes and the actual experiences and everything are kind of crazy. If you imagine Sound of Music ends halfway through the book, or even like a third into the book, and now hard cut to the family arriving in Brooklyn, all of them still wearing basically like the Austrian lederhosen and the all of that stuff, having to find a way to rent a house. They have no money. Just the whole experience of I'm having like a whole thing, like my sort of childhood. Oh, Austria, the singing in brackets Nazis. It suddenly dropped into like urban post-war New York, and it's all about how they kind of the struggles and how they actually made it as a sort of singing family and what they did and what happened to them. And it's a really bizarre rewriting of something in my childhood, and also uh, um, a really interesting voice. She is sassy AF for a nun. Like, that's something that the Rodgers and Hammerstein absolutely nailed. She is definitely the nun who talks back and should never have been a nun, etc. There's just a lot about given that in some ways she is a very traditional and a lot of traditional religious ideas that sort of guide her. There is so much in that story about transgression and about striking new pathways and about, you know, doing things that technically put your family in danger, but are done for the good of wanting to create a different life and a different way of being. And it was crazily interesting to read. Yep. So the Von Trapp family real life story, that's my thing that I want to talk to
I'm
everyone.
seeing multiple different
Like,
memoirs.
you were
Do
more
you know which
prepared to
one you
answer
read?
that question, Chrissy.
The book is still by the side of my bed.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking I would answer a question about comics, and
Right.
then I thought, no, it's Maria Von Trapp.
Is
Yeah.
it well, I mean, I'm seeing Maria, My Own Story, the Trapp Family Law. Well, that's Trapp Family Lodge Gift Shop, and the story of the Trapp Family Singers.
I think it was the story of the Trapp family
Family
singers.
Singers.
The one I
Okay,
read.
yeah, it looks like the My Own Story is more about becoming a nun. Yeah, I don't know,
She's a
but yeah,
really interesting voice to read, and given when she was writing, it's really interesting. And also in the course of it, she talks about how she learned English just like on the fly from bellhops in New York, and it's a really interesting look at people who have just changed their entire brain, changed the entire language that they communicate in primarily as adults, as full, you know, there's loads going on.
yeah,
As well as some yeah, never, it's the trouble with reading things from the past, isn't it? They use different words to describe things, and some of those words can be very shocking now. But I would say that the intent behind the words was not negative. There's a real warmth and a kindness.
Well, I'll also toss out that like you now have your next graphic novel pitch.
Well, I actually have got a script about nuns that I've been thinking about, honestly.
Well, I mean that too, but I was just thinking like the New York Van Trapp family
It's just
after the
delightful,
Sound of
isn't
the
it?
Music.
It just, but you think about the visuals in your head from that family and now put it next to like The Godfather, right? You
Yeah,
know?
it actually shocks me that nobody has,
Made that film.
or comic, one of the two. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's always, I mean, particularly yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, yes, film, because we're in this era where like everything is like, let's regurgitate properties. Let's take the stuff that we already own. How did nobody go, oh, wait, the Von Tropps are real and there's more to the story?
Yeah.
Get me Jay-Z.
It's the reboot to end all reboots.
Right.
Yeah. Oh God, there's an awful, you know, I'm not going to make that pun. Never mind. Let's move on. No. Thank you for asking such an interesting question.
When we reach the point where we have to censor ourselves, it's clearly time to be at a finish. But it was such a joy. I hope to talk to you all again, either because you work together again, or because we come back individually, or with other projects, or whatever. It has been absolute pleasure. Hope I haven't been too annoying. Mourning
Not at
me
all.
is weird. So for Chrissy Williams, Lauren Knight, and Sofie Dodgson, the three quarters of the primary Golden Rage team. I mean, because I feel like I should list editors too, but I don't have them off the top of my head, or how many of them are.
Joe Met
What?
Gill, editor, also. Yeah.
Becca Carey with the letters. You won't give everybody credit right now, but Chrissy, Lauren, and Sophie have been talking to us for the last hour and a half. It has been a joy. Enjoy the rest of your days, which is significantly less than the rest of my day. I'm just starting my day, and I have to go get a physical and then do 2 more podcasts. because I need to fire my scheduler. Um,
Ask them about The Sound of Music.
Ask them about The Sound of Music. I mean, it's a heavy metal book club and a saga book club, but I'll try to remember.
I'm sure you can
Heavy
segue that in.
metal. Yeah, definitely. Slip it over you.
Heavy metal, the magazine, not the music. This is a comics podcast, and we differ from that when we're playing Die, but that came out of a comic, so
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful way to spend my morning.
Amazing.
For
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
for the Golden Rage team, this has been 22 Panels, and we will see you after the next page.